The poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, denuded, devastated by another natural disaster. Initial reports were of flooding and destruction, brown torrents of water that had washed homes and villages from the landscape. But only now, 3 days after Matthew, are we getting a clear picture of what the aid agencies are facing. From initial estimates of 5 dead, the count is now 300 and rising.
A lot of rain and the wind continued to intensify, and by between 6 and 7:30 it was the worst. Then we thought it was over and everybody came out, then they spent about an hour, then it started over again and it was the worst part.
The eye of the storm crossed to the southernmost tip of the peninsula and through the city of Jeremy. 1 million people are affected. There are reports at least 80% of the homes are destroyed. They predict more bodies will appear as the waters recede. The UN says the biggest challenge will be restoring clean water and sanitation.
I need help. I need to go back home with my kids because my son has a fever. I don't know why you give him the fever, so I need some help. I need to go home.
With bridges damaged and many roads still impassable, the relief effort has been badly hampered. The Red Cross say they're caring for some 38,000 people in shelters, with more arriving. This aid worker says they don't have enough water. We can't help the people, he said. There's no food. The US Navy is responding. They've deployed 9 helicopters to lift supplies. But with Matthew still barreling north, now taunting the eastern seaboard of the United States, the danger is Haiti will be overlooked at a time when the need is most acute.
In parts of western Haiti, stunned residents are wading through the remnants of Hurricane Matthew. The storm's torrential rains flooded the streets of Lekki overnight and left many people homeless.
My home was completely destroyed. I've lost everything because of the water, including all of my children's documents.
The United Nations is calling it the worst humanitarian disaster to hit Haiti since the devastating earthquake of 2010. And with communications knocked out in many areas, the overall impact may not be known for days. Many here say they need urgent help.
Our homes are completely destroyed. We've lost everything. We need help as fast as possible. We cannot be left behind.
Matthew is now moving north, but for the residents of Lekki, the storm's impact is only beginning to sink in.
The United Nations says Hurricane Matthew's brought with it Haiti's worst humanitarian crisis since the earthquake of 2010. Winds up to 230 kilometers an hour and heavy rain have created what's being called a catastrophic situation in places like Lekki. Up to 1 meter of rain was predicted, threatening mudslides and flash floods. Communications are down across most of the country. Because of that, there's no immediate information on casualties and the extent of the damage. The Interior Minister says damage to homes and crops is likely to be extensive. Tens of thousands of people in Haiti are still living in flimsy tents and makeshift houses following the quake 6 years ago, from which it's still struggling to recover. The US has already offered the use of some of its helicopters to help with relief efforts. The hurricane's expected to reach the Bahamas, Florida and the Atlantic coast of the southern US on Thursday.
2 weeks after Hurricane Matthew struck, crews are still struggling to clear roads blocked by fallen trees and debris in Haiti. Some villages can only be reached on foot, with volunteers carrying what supplies they can. So far, the official death toll has topped 540 people, with dozens more missing. Those who did survive are now battling an outbreak of cholera. As usual, children are hit first and hardest, according to UNICEF worker Geraldine Alceres.
We have seen 28 children between the ages of 2 and 14 who are suffering from cholera. There are children who have been abandoned. They don't have food. There is not enough medicine. There are no words for the situation.
Many are finding it hard to reach the medical help that is available.
It is very difficult here when we are about to give birth to a baby. It's important to get to a hospital, but the only hospital is in the city of Jeremy.
Officials say some 1.4 million people in Haiti need some type of aid, usually clean water and hygiene kits to stop the spread of cholera.
A state of desperation in Haiti after Hurricane Matthew. Haitians in the hard-hit city of Jérémie tore through a United Nations food truck. The looting incident came just moments before UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon's arrival in Lekki, another hard-hit city in the southwestern peninsula. Humanitarian aid has been slow to reach the region, where Hurricane Matthew hit in early October, killing around 1,000 people.
We are going to mobilize.
Ban Ki-moon offered Haitians words of hope, telling them to stay strong and promising to work quickly to provide more help. But with major shortages of food, drinking water, and medical supplies in devastated areas, the help couldn't come fast enough. World Food Program distributions are among the first aid operations deployed in the impoverished Caribbean nation after Hurricane Matthew. Survivors in the city of Lekki, located in the hardest-hit southwestern peninsula, had their lives demolished.
I don't have a home. All my things went with the water. I'm going to give birth this month. I have nothing.
We can't take it anymore. There's no other place for us to go to, nowhere to sleep.
But food distribution is not enough. Haiti's children are left without schools. The UN says some $119 million is needed to bring life-saving assistance to the hundreds of thousands still suffering. And the death count keeps rising. With at least 1,000 people killed and the reported spread of cholera, they need help fast.